later. So, Donnie, Jonathan Lemire and the Associated Press wrote an article this past week about how Donald Trump keeps lowering the bar, that every time you think he has gone as low as he can possibly go, which is, of course, over 3 years, has been a great deal, that even the most cynical White House observers, before he started attacking Elijah and started attacking these women of color in Congress, thought that Trump had gone as low as he could go. And as Jonathan reports, a lot of White House observers and people inside the White House were shocked that actually the frantic sort of management lifestyle has become even more detached and even more dangerous. And we don't know where the bottom is. We do know that he continues to shock by the day.
You know, you use the Austin Powers rather light metaphor. With all seriousness, the Mussolini, when Mussolini's standing up there on that terrace like this, with his face like that, to me, the parallels with Trump in terms of that self-satisfaction at the chaos he's creating, the parallels are stunning there. You know what's so ironic? That coming off of, to me, pretty poor debates both nights for the Democrats, if Trump stood up and basically talked about the economy, talked about, hey, by the way, two benchmark Democratic strongholds, criminal reform and immigration. By the way, they brought up that Obama deported more people than I ever did. Oh, by the way, they were arguing about critical reform. I passed the most, comprehensive criminal prison reform act. Stronghold Democratic benchmarks that he could own. Of course, he doesn't go there. The scary thing for me, and Joe, you and I talked about this last week as him being a transactional ideologue, is he's going to keep lowering it, keep digging into that base, and then sometime around April, May next year, pivot and start acting somewhat normal. And to your whole premise of this segment, that because he's lowered it so low, that when he starts just giving a Normandy speech and starts talking about, why don't we relook at healthcare a little bit, people are going to go, wow. So there's this mad irony happening here that worries me. Everybody keeps going, oh, he's going to keep going there, he's going to keep going there. I think it's the opposite. I think he's digging, and then he's going to pivot, and then he's really going to be tough to beat.
Well, there are a lot of people concerned about
That's true.
but he has not proven himself capable of being disciplined for more than a day or two. He can give the Normandy speech, but then he will go and give an interview on Fox News with the crosses of the dead from D-Day behind him and launch the most just inflammatory political attacks against people in the United States. So he can't, he's incapable of doing that. I will say, Caddy, the thing that last night's rally showed, and it was a great, I think it was a great comparison with what the Democrats were doing. It showed that here was a guy that strutted across the stage. He was being a demagogue, I would say Mussolini-like. Just picking at racial resentments constantly. And then you go like the previous two nights and you have Democrats going, well, I have looked at subsection 3 of page 487 of your Medicare for All plan, and I fear that after the third deductible, that the coverage may not be as satisfactory if you are in Medicare Zone 3 instead of Medicare Zone 1. Of course, you have to weigh that with a bookings instant. I could go on all night because the Democrats went on all night. They never, there's not a Democrat on the stage that understands how to take it to a higher level, that understands the bigger theme. And I think, Caddy, most importantly, something that Trump understood from the very beginning that they need to get, you don't have to play by the rules. If CNN or MSNBC sets up a question to say, Senator Harris, Joe Biden is a jerk, and he thinks you're a jerk, how do you respond? You know what? They don't have to play by the rules. They can go, I think Joe Biden has served this country well.
There you go.
I'm very proud of everything he's done, and I stand with Joe Biden. He stands with me. Now let's talk about the man who is changing America for the worst, Donald Trump. They don't have to take the bait, Caddy, but they always do. Yeah. And there doesn't seem to be a Democrat who understands where we are right now in history against this man.
Yeah, I was laughing because I'm so glad I got lost in that whole healthcare debate too. And at one point I was thinking, do I just not know my healthcare policy enough? And then I was thinking, if I don't understand this and we're covering this every day, then what are the voters making of this? But you're right. I mean, look, if they are going to try and go high as a party, in a sense, these debates are certainly not the best opportunity to take on Barack Obama, as you've been saying, Joe, over the last couple of days, the most popular Democrat living at the moment, not take on his healthcare plan, which has something like 87% approval rating amongst Democrats as well. And they don't need to do that game of taking on each other. And that is why that second night in particular of the debates was so dissatisfying and why it makes the field look so weak. I mean, I struggled by the end of that 3-hour-long second debate to see Joe Biden up against Donald Trump on a debate stage. I mean, Donald Trump will change the facts, ignore the facts, reverse himself, but he'll do it with this phenomenal bluster and confidence the whole time through. And against that, if Joe Biden were the nominee and we're going to put in that performance, he's looking kind of slightly doddery and distracted and not in control of himself and not in control of the surroundings. And that's just not going to be a good look for them. The only reason Biden is ahead 19 points in the polls in that pack is because people think he can win. That belief can disappear pretty fast. And once it does, what are the Democrats left with?
Joe, you know, can I just say it one other way that you're saying it? Maybe I'll go one step further. The Democrats have become the party of nerds. I mean, that's what goes on there. The Republicans are the party of strength, and reprehensible many, many times, but people follow strength, and there's a nerdiness that's happened to the Democratic Party where your voice did it perfectly, and
so
you've got it, and that's it. We've become a wimpy party, and don't follow wimps. I know I'm going to get a lot of you're talking.
Well, no. I actually heard that last night on Chris Hayes. People were talking, again, because I'm not watching the Red Sox anymore. So I was watching Chris Hayes. I think the Red Sox were already losing 4-2 by that time. But they were saying the same thing on Chris Hayes. Say, listen, Donald Trump is a strong leader. Democrats need a strong leader that can stand toe-to-toe with them. And it wasn't just Chris saying that. It was a very diverse panel. Everybody seemed to agree. And Richard Haass also agreed on something else, what we're talking about, getting down in the weeds. Jonathan Alter said, hey, stop leading with your chin. Like, don't talk about decriminalizing illegal border crossings because you're never going to get to that. Like, that's going to be like the 12th thing you get to when you put your comprehensive immigration reform plan together. Democrats should say, we're for comprehensive immigration reform. We think dreamers should be able to take part in that American dream. We're for universal health care. We don't know exactly how we're going to get there. We just know we're going to get there together as a party, and we're going to try to bring in independents and Republicans and everybody in. That's our goal. And stop fighting each other over these small, exaggerated differences that they think might help them get 1 or 2 percentage points from the far left Democratic base. It is a losing proposition.